Question, which is just getting underway on BBC Two, and the news continues here on BBC One. Now it's time to join our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news where you are. But from the 10 o'clock team, it's good night.
Thank you, Rita. Welcome to viewers in the southeast and across the south of England. Our top story tonight: an apology for massive traffic disruption from two environmental activists on trial after climbing the QE2 bridge. And how the Poole Harbor oil spill is hitting shellfish producers. Good evening. Two environmental activists on trial for climbing onto the QE2 bridge last October have apologised to the road users whose lives they disrupted. Morgan Troland and Marcus Decker spent more than 36 hours suspended above the road in hammocks, creating long traffic delays. They both deny causing a public nuisance. Sarah Smith reports.
They may have appeared as tiny figures on the towering structure of the QE2 bridge, but these protesters, a jury has heard, caused huge disruption. Morgan Troland and Marcus Decker had climbed 60 metres up the bridge cables in the early hours last October. They'd unfurled their banner and rigged up hammocks. Police had closed the road for safety reasons, and the tailbacks built up for miles. The court heard from some of those who'd been stuck in the queues. One man had missed a funeral, others hospital appointments. Today, the defendants were asked what they thought about the impact they'd had. Morgan Troland told the jury that he apologised and regretted what had happened, that he realised people had missed moments in their life and that was very painful for them, and that they would never forgive him. But he said a far, far worse option was to ignore what climate change was doing to people around the world and would do in the future. There was no good option, he said. Marcus Decker told the court he wanted to sincerely apologise and express his sorrow and condolences. He said he didn't know how he could right the wrong, but he hoped he and his co-defendant had been able to explain the dire situation and the need to take action. Both men told the jury they'd wanted to stop the government granting licences for new oil and gas projects, that the damage to the environment was a much greater evil than the damage they had done. On the evening of the second day, the pair decided to come down, helped by police and a cherry-picker crane. They deny causing a public nuisance, saying they had reasonable excuse to do so. The trial will continue next week. Sarah Smith, BBC South East Today, Basildon Crown Court.
A couple are to stand trial in January next year, charged with the manslaughter of a baby girl. Constance Martin and Mark Gordon appeared at the Old Bailey this morning. They didn't enter pleas and were remanded in custody. The infant's remains were found in Brighton earlier this month, following a 53-day missing persons investigation. A search is continuing in Sussex for the body of a man who was murdered more than 20 years ago. Jason Martin Smith from Camberley in Surrey was abducted in Hastings in August 2001. Sussex police have been carrying out searches in Battle after receiving what they say is a viable line of inquiry. The former head of the Royal Marines died by suicide after experiencing substantial stress, an inquest has concluded. Major General Matthew Holmes, who was 54, was found in a bedroom at his home in Winchester in October 2021. The hearing was told that in the months before his death, Major General Holmes had lost his position as leader of the Royal Marines in a management restructuring, faced the collapse of his marriage and had been left angry at the UK's withdrawal from Afghanistan. A man who killed a fellow passenger with a horseshoe at Reading railway station after a row about music being played on their train has been jailed for more than 21 years. 24-year-old Thomas Parker died following an altercation on the way back from a football match last July. 42-year-old Kirkpatrick Virgo of Whitby Road in Slough was found guilty of murder following a 2-week trial. Coachloads of school children have reportedly been stuck at Dover for several hours at the start of the Easter getaway. The port authorities say it's down to extended processing times at the French border controls. The bad weather is also leading to delays. Freight traffic is being queued on the outskirts of the town, but the port says processing for freight and tourist traffic in cars is normal for peak periods. Shellfish traders in Poole Bay say they're angered by the oil leak, which has led to sales being halted. They've been told shellfish harvested since Sunday's spill should not be sold until further safety assessments have been made. About 30,000 litres of reservoir fluid, including oil, leaked from a pipeline.
We're dealing with the ecology of the harbour, which is, it has to have some effect on it. Yeah, we've got to be angry, haven't we? Everybody's got to be angry. We shouldn't be polluting the harbour. We shouldn't be polluting anywhere, basically. There's always a worry, Once you've got a name for really good shellfish, you don't want something like this to spoil it.
Finally, more than 12,000 people are set to take part in the Brighton Marathon this Sunday. The people behind the London Marathon are running this year's event for the first time after the previous organisers went into administration. Meanwhile, the Southampton Marathon is also taking place, which will include a team of 30 workmates from the University of Southampton, running in memory of their friend and colleague Laura Lee, who died of cancer aged 30.
It's a mix of mainly colleagues from the University of Southampton that work with Laura, but also some of her family, so her mum and her two brothers are running too with us. We're all very excited, nervous to actually do the big challenge, and I'm sure there'll be a sense of pride at the end, but a lot of emotional ups and downs throughout the race when we have kind of Laura in our ear saying, come on, you've got this. And
here with Sunday's weather is Nina Ridge.
After today's heavy rain, the weekend will gradually turn a little drier and even some sunshine on offer by Sunday. It is a slow change. We still are expecting some wet weather through the day on Saturday, where it's fairly cloudy, and by Sunday, despite the sunshine, it will be colder. With the cloud and rain overnight tonight, it's not cold. It's going to be quite a mild night. Temperatures of around about 7 to 9 degrees as we start Saturday morning. This weather front is still with us first thing on Saturday morning, bringing some heavy outbreaks of rain. But gradually through the day, it pushes to the south. The rain becomes patchier and lighter. We're left with cloudy skies and highs of 12 degrees. The sunshine making that appearance on Sunday, and it should last into Monday and Tuesday.
Not too bad. We'll be back again with all the latest just after 5:30 tomorrow evening. Good night.
Not the only one finding it hard to talk money with your kids. 474,000 of us have accessed the